It's something that can definitely heal you, make you feel better. It's sound. Now, it's reasonable to think that. Why do we listen to songs on the radio or we stream them? Because we get a certain feeling, brings back a memory, whatever it might be. That can be done when somebody is playing certain instruments like sound bowls and so much more. We're going to talk about that today. She's a sound healer. Barb Sounds is back with us. Welcome. How are you?
Thanks, Steve. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. By the way, I wanted to tell you, I've
uh
talked to a number of people who practice Reiki, even hypnotherapy, and I asked them if you could study one modality to add to your arsenal in helping people heal. They all say sound healing.
Yeah. Sound is healing with sound and light, but particularly sound because it's more physical, it's more visceral for people. Is really is like just exploding now.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of people giving trainings, and now of course it's still one of those modalities that's not regulated yet. So we're in that really messy part of it. But yeah, like people are wanting to add that. And I'm actually mentoring two people who are doing sound healing, and it's for both of them, it's something they've added to the different other modalities of energy healing that they've been doing.
Hmm.
Because it's, when you are aware of energy and you know how to use it to heal, you can easily pick up, you know, different modalities, which are just really different ways of channeling the same, healing energy.
You make it look easy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. You do. You do.
it's taken me a long time to learn as much as I know about it.
Hmm.
That's certainly true. Um, and I learn all the time. Like every time I play for somebody, it's different, so I learn. It's
You set intentions before you play.
hmm hmm
And that's essentially how it works, where you're playing with a goal in mind, which I think if you're going to do anything in life, there should be a goal. Why are you doing it? Got to be a
hmm
goal. Same thing
hmm
with sound healing. What intention would you set today?
Today, I want to play for wonder and awe.
Hmm.
And I think wonder and awe can be in, can come up in us as feelings or, perceptions with something big, like an eclipse or those super moons that, people want to try to see outside. Or if you go and you're walking and you see a big, huge old tree, those kinds of things. Or it can be something teeny weeny and little, like a dewdrop on a little tiny leaf, right?
I took a picture
And
the other day of a spider web on a tree, and it was
yeah,
so intricate, and there was dew on it, and was like, wow, that's really cool. I was trying to get it at different angles because the light shows differently with the dewdrops and everything. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. And I think particularly now in this state that our world is in, nobody's paying much attention to wonder and awe, right? Everybody's paying attention to all of the negative stuff. And there's not, and I think we can find more wonder and awe in nature, and that includes sounds.
Mm.
Sounds are part of nature, because as humans, we're really bad at, except for the arts, painting, music, dance, that kind of thing. Those can instill wonder and awe in us still, but not often. When we don't, those are the things we drop when things get going tough, right? And if you look at small children, I remember one time talking to a neighbor's child, and she was like 3, and I was out walking my dog, and she called to me from their porch, and she had this treasure in her hand, and she was holding it in her hand. And so I went, and her whole face was alight, her eyes were sparkling. She had found this most amazing thing. And when she opened her hand, it was a rock, like it was a stone, probably from somebody's, gravel in their driveway. It was a little stone. It was mostly smooth, but it had some little bumpy parts. It was just basically black, gray stone. But to her, that was the most precious thing. And she could have been having a major temper tantrum like half an hour before that. But finding that little stone, for that to be her treasure, and then she was
Mm.
just in awe and wonder of this stone that had come like to her.
It was her treasure. It had a
Yeah,
meaning.
and if I think if we find ways to do that as adults, whether it's big or small, it pulls us out of being stuck in all those feelings and thoughts and energies that we live in, every second of every day. And it pulls us right out of all the negative stuff. You can't be in awe and wonder of anything. Like when you were looking at that spider web and taking pictures of it, you were not connected to any of the stuff that's going on in your life.
No, I was
or any
focused on
stuff
that.
that was around you. You're probably
Yeah, you're right.
oblivious to, whoever else was around, or, so that's it. It's a kind of a neat thing, wonder and awe, because it doesn't take that much to do.
Yeah.
And even if you're feeling completely crappy, when I was in one of the really not very fun parts of my life, I was very depressed, and I tried to write this journal every day and write down like something good, if it happened, and there wasn't a lot happening that was good. But so I wound up writing things in my journal to start with, like the sun came out, or like the sun came through the window, right? Or it was nice to breathe the fresh air and walk my dog. But, and so those are all of those little things that when there's all kinds of stuff all around, they just bring you back to that pure and simple being, just like being,
Well, it goes back to what we had said in the past, where you need to live in the moment, live for the now. And
yeah,
that's what it makes you do.
Yeah.
Like you're right. When I looked at that web, I could tell you what time of day it was. And this is the angle of the sun. I was on my bike. All of that. I could probably, there was a row of trees going probably 800 feet along this road. I could find that spot again because it imprinted in my mind. But you're right. We don't take the time for that. I had an hour open yesterday. I went for a hike. Now, sadly, the park is a mile and a half away. I never find the time to go. It was a warmer day and it was magical. Even just listening to the leaves underneath my shoes and just looking up and looking around and looking, I wonder if I'll see a rabbit. I don't know. Let's see. It was just wonderful.
Yeah. When you start to notice things like that, you have much more, you have happier moments. When this summer I was walking my dog down a street most mornings that had some really, really big old, over 100-year-old oaks. And there were acorns like all over the place all summer, like on the ground. And every day when I went out, I was so delighted. I loved those little acorns on the ground. And it was so awesome to me that they came out of those big, huge trees. Right. And that one little acorn like started that ginormous tree that I could not even put my arms around. Right. And it was like 40 feet up in the air. And I would usually come home with probably like 3 or 4 of them in my pocket. And I did that almost every day. And at one point, and I had put them in a little bowl because I thought, oh, maybe I'll plant some in the backyard. And then I thought, no, the squirrels will just dig up my whole back lawn if I do that. But it didn't really matter after a while what I was wanting to do with them. It was just that I wanted to be reminded. So when I was at my house doing like, the mundane things I have to do, I could just, walk past those little acorns and look at them and I would feel happy.
Yeah. And you're right. It's amazing. You can be awestruck by it when you see the little thing sprout out of the ground and you pick it up and you see an acorn and then you see some roots going out. It's like, whoa, that's really cool. That did that.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. It does put you in wonder. Like, how does he do
It's
that?
wonder and awe. And we forget about that, especially when we're, adults. We forget about it for decades or like most of our life, right?
So why don't we do it?
Okay.
I can't wait for the drum solo. I'm kidding. Like a concert.
I don't have that kind of drum.
I know, I'm
I have
kidding.
different drums.
You do. Bang a gong, as
But they're
they
fun
say.
too. They're fun too. Okay, I'm
Sure.
gonna turn my original sound on.
Yep.
And
She's making her way to the studio there. She has all the microphones and
We'll play
everything.
for wonder and awe. Of course, I'm in wonder and awe just with all of my instruments.
You know what? I want to double check technically here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this is the first time that I can hear you clear, and I want to make sure that the other microphones are actually switched on. So maybe
Oh,
tap one of the mics. Yeah,
yeah, I think they are.
they are. Wow, this is I believe the first time that I can hear your mic and those microphones. Cool.
Well, yeah, and actually, and we haven't done too many podcasts in the last month. I've been like upgrading
There you go.
my sound, so
Awesome.
it's like on the verge of being too good now.
Rock
But
on, as they
anyway,
say.
there we go. All right, so we are going to start.
Wonder and awe.
So everyone, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths in and out, and just start to relax your body and your mind and your feelings, just letting them all go. And we're going to find wonder and awe.
I'm in awe of the way you play. So super cool. Oh, and I have to turn the speakers down because I actually put it up on the speaker so I could really hear it, not
Did
just in
it? Cool.
headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounded really good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hmm. When somebody experiences that type of sound, when do they start to feel the benefits? Is it instantaneous? Do they take maybe some time and then have a realization, things change? How does it typically work?
Well, the healing for people happens during the sound bath because you're immersed in those healing frequencies, and the job of the sounds in sound healing is to use those more powerful frequencies
Hmm.
to pull the cells in your body that are have fallen down outside of the healthy range, to pull them back up. And similarly, that has an effect on your brain, which has your thoughts and your feelings. So really anything that you're wanting to heal, whether it's physical body or whether it's feelings or whether it's thoughts, it's all part, even spiritual things, it's all, all affected by the vibrations, and the sound frequencies of what I'm playing. So any healing that happens during the sound bath. It stays happening for a little while afterwards. I think it's just that most people don't kind of recognize what's happened till afterwards, and that could
Hmm.
be anywhere from 5 minutes after I play. Like last week when I was playing, and like we didn't have much time talking at the end, but I said, "How's your shoulder?"
Hmm. Interesting.
And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pain in your shoulder had like diminished a little bit,
Yeah.
right? And that wasn't even anything either you or I had an intention.
By the way, the insurance company denied for the second time the MRI. I'm not even kidding. And it's just
Oh, geez.
it's minor pain, but it's a bigger pain dealing with the insurance company. That's the
Oh,
pain.
yeah,
But
no, they're
yeah,
terrible.
that's not
They're terrible.
that's how I get
It's
started. I because
No, 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 we don't
we'll
want to
get
get
if
started on that.
because we'll
But,
get started.
a lot of times people, like what happened to you last week is, it happens to a lot of people. Like they come to a sound bath, and, I was doing a sound bath for a client in February of this year, and she had some like very serious pain in her knee, right? So that's what we were intending to heal. Well, at the end of the sound bath, and I did just a 30-minute one, at the end of a sound bath, her knee felt better. But as she was, kind of coming back and, getting ready to leave the sound bath, she said, "Oh, well, it seems that the pain in my back and my hips is kind of gone right now." So I said, "Oh,
Huh.
that's good." Now, that wasn't her intention for healing. I didn't even know that she had any pain in her back or her hips. And, last time I saw her was just, a few days ago. And the pain it was a severe injury in her knee. It took a long time to go away, but, that was a kind of a start or a little boost for the sound bath. But the pain in her lower back and her hips has never come back. And that's like, we're getting
Really?
close. Yeah, we're getting close to a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and people get busy. People have a hard time kind of understanding what's not physically apparent. Like you can't see the sound waves, right? You can't see them going into your body or into your mind. So it's a little harder to figure out. And what's happening, the healing is happening at a cellular level in our bodies, right? And inside of each cell. So that's hard to see. We can't see ourselves and go, "Oh, there's like some, movement happening there. Oh, there's some unblockage of, you know."
It's hard for us to really quantify this kind of stuff because it's got to go in the ear, then get
Mhm.
in, then go here, then get here. Um,
Well, it has to go into your body somehow. I mean,
yeah.
primarily sound will go into our body through our ears, but it will also go through, oftentimes we feel sound in our chest, you know. It
Mm,
depends.
yeah.
And
Well, it's a
even
vibration.
and even the virtual sound baths, I mean, you don't have to be in the middle of the instruments. it can come into your body, you know, like for you through your headphones, or like just from this, if you had your speakers on, then you were getting like the vibrations and the frequencies into your whole entire body as if you were right here in my studio.
As was everybody in this building.
Yeah.
And I could just
Well,
imagine that there's a company next door. They got one over there. There's one across the hallway, and I could just imagine what they're thinking as they're hearing like,
well,
what is that guy? What is he doing?
Yeah, a number of years ago, a friend of mine was doing like a women's circle, shamanic women's circle in one of the yoga studios here in Toronto. So she asked me if I'd bring in like a couple of my bowls and stuff. And I don't even think I had. I think I had a rattle and like 3 singing bowls or something, like hardly anything compared to what I play now. Anyway, so I was playing during part of it. And then after it was over and I was sort of, the door was open to the room, because we were in like a yoga room, right? But apparently there were other people in yoga classes in other spaces in that building. Like right next to us was like a big room, and there was a yoga class in there at the same time as I was playing. And as I was packing up, the yoga teacher came along and she stuck her head in the door and she said, "What were you doing in here?" And then because the sound had been so like not loud, but it was very powerful, right, in that small room, I thought, oh my gosh. I said, I hope we didn't disturb your yoga class. I was just playing these bowls and stuff. And she said, no, you didn't disturb us at all. She said, we didn't really, I didn't hear anything, right? She said, I didn't hear any sounds. She said, but we just had the best yoga class we've ever had. That's why I wanted to come and see what you were doing in here, in this room, right? So
somehow it affected them.
Yeah, well, the vibrations would have at a non-hearing level would have probably gone into that room.
Wow.
Right. Through the walls.
We yes, and that they're probably feeling pretty good next door.
Yeah, my neighbor right now, who's like near to where on the side of my studio, he really likes it when I play.
And they probably don't even know why they're feeling better.
No, and they don't know what I'm playing either. Like one day I was doing a session for somebody, and then when I came out and he was on his porch and he said, were you drumming? And I'm like, well, not really. I was playing my gongs and stuff. And he's like, oh, it sounded like you were drumming, but it was very cool.
Well, you sort of were drumming when you look at that. We're way out of time. Whoops.
Oh dear.
Oops. How do we find you?
You can book me for private stuff, and actually for a free 30-minute sound bath, which I do for first-time people. If you've never had a sound bath with me, you get the first one free, 30 minutes. And you can book that at calendly.com/Barb Sounds. That's my booking site. So you can book that free complimentary 30 minutes. And that's the best way to do it. Like try it out for a whole half hour and like just you, and see if it works for you.
Why wouldn't you want to? I mean, just listening to 10 minutes barely of you playing, it's so peaceful. Just puts you in just a different frame of mind. I wish you could walk around, just hear that all day long in the back of my head.
Yeah.
So the other stuff that goes around your head. Barb.
Well, now that I have stuff up on my YouTube site, so you can actually go to my YouTube site too, which is youtube.com/@Barb Sounds. And I've been putting up like not only the podcasts that we've been doing, but also the short, cutting out the short 10-minute segments.
Awesome.
So I think, I know someone who, is doing sound baths with me, but started out listening over and over and over to the one I did on joy, 10 minutes of joy.
That's a great idea.
You can just loop it. You can loop it. You can make a playlist.
I have a meditation
channel.
I play the meditation over and over again, and it puts me to sleep. And that's my goal, to go to sleep. And that's not even what but it was intended for, but it puts me to sleep. I could imagine, how beneficial it would be, even, for whatever the intention is, to listen. They're going to cut us off, so we got to go.
Okay. No problem.
Always
we'll talk more next week.
Yep. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Barb.
Yeah, you're welcome.